Good morning, my beautiful soul followers. How is everyone doing this morning? It is kind of a gray, not quite rainy day here. So I was going to put you guys in my little phone holder, but it broke. So welcome to my car. Welcome to my dirty car. But the last few days we have been speaking about duty sex, and this came about when I was speaking with a man in my life, and he really truly didn't understand that there was even such a thing as duty sex. Might as well kind of the ins and outs, we'll say, the ins and outs of duty sex and why women have duty sex and how men can really push women to have duty sex, and in truth, how sometimes men have duty sex. So if you did not see the last two videos, the first one being the fine line. So what is the difference between duty sex and other kinds of sexing or interactions with a partner? The second video, which was more about what comes out of duty sex. What is the dangers truly to each individual in the relationship? And then what is the dangers to the relationship as a whole? So if you have missed either of those videos, I do suggest after this one going back and watching those two because they had some really good information about just the duty sex process, because I think it's something we do not talk about enough, or when we do talk about it, we joke about it, or we blow it off and we don't take it truly seriously. But the fact is there are some big ramifications to having duty sex. To having duty sex and to having consistent duty sex. There's trauma to the body, there's trauma to the relationship for both partners. And so it really is an important topic. But today we're going to talk about whose fault is it? It's your fault. And it's not your fault at the same time. Because this was mainly the piece of the duty sex topic that I got into this conversation with this guy over, because he was like, well, it is the woman's fault. Like, she just shouldn't do it then. She shouldn't do it. It's the woman's fault for having duty sex. Like, she's obviously not communicating. And my answer to him was yes and no and no. So the fact is, every time a couple goes into having duty sex, usually there are different dynamics to each couple's reasoning, each couple's purpose. So I was talking to somebody, another person in my life, because this topic just keeps coming up this last week, and this woman was sharing with me. She was like, I leaned in because I wanted to try. I wasn't really in the mood, but I wanted to try. I wanted to see if I could connect with my partner. So I leaned in, but then I realized suddenly it was like duty sex. And I could totally relate, because I've totally been there where as a partner, as a woman, you go, I'm just not feeling it, but I potentially could be feeling it if I just leaned in here. Maybe this is actually what I need to connect to my body again. Maybe I'm not aroused because I'm not connecting. I'm not being touched. I'm not stepping into my body and my sexuality. Maybe that is why I'm feeling so disconnected. So sometimes we lean into sex, but then we get into it and we realize we're a no. And as soon as we realize we're a no, that is where we should take the responsibility and go, I'm really not here. I'm really not present. I don't really want to be doing this. And so it's not you, it's me, or maybe it is you, but I'm not in this any longer. Now it's going to become duty. It's going to ruin the relationship. And so in those instances, if a woman continues, it could be, and I don't like to say the word fault, but it is somewhat that woman's fault for continuing on. That being said, and if you are a man who is really pressuring, really putting pressure on your woman, and really, even if it's not direct pressure, like, no, come on, baby, even if it's like, okay, we never have sex, a little bit of guilt tripping, guess what? Then you are moving the fault to yourself. And as a man, you should be tuning in. If you're having sex with your woman, you should be tuning into her. And there's no fucking excuse to not be tuning into her. Sorry, but if you're having sex with a woman, you will know if she's going through the motions. So anything less than that is bullshit. And I hear lots of excuses. Well, not all men are as conscious. Well, that's not an excuse. Get conscious. Tune in. Learn the practices. Step the fuck up. Because it is not an excuse that, oh, I just didn't realize. I wasn't tuning into her. I was just enjoying myself. I wasn't really tuning into her. That's not an excuse for having duty sex with your partner. Or, in truth, because men can have duty sex as well, for going into duty sex yourself. So, to tune in to your partner and realize if she's really not into it, to slow down and go, hey, are you into this? Like, are you here with me? Or do you want to be having sex right now? Or do we need to sit and talk for a minute? Do we need to cuddle? Do we need to just get away from each other? Are you angry at me? Do we need to talk about something else? And really, really come at it from that respectful position, because I promise you, your woman, if you say to her, I'm just not feeling you here with me right now, I feel like you're doing this because of some other reason other than you really wanting to be with me right now, you really wanting to connect, I promise you that builds trust in the relationship. That builds trust in the sex. Because then the next time that you guys are having sex, she's going to be able to drop in because she's going to know that you're paying attention to her and her body. And so whose fault is duty sex? It is truly both parties most of the time. Most of the time it's both parties going into it, because as women we need to learn that our bodies are important and they are precious, and that every time we invade them without them really being open and in a true aroused state, that we are doing trauma to our physical bodies. And we have to respect ourselves enough to go, I'm not in it. And we have to be honest enough with our partners to have those fucking conversations. Because I also hear from women all the time, well, I just don't like sex, but I have to give it to him, so I'm just going to do it. Anyway, well, guess what? If you are that disconnected and that hating of your sex, then it is your responsibility as a woman to go in and do the work. To learn to enjoy sex, or find the ways that you like your body connected with. Because yes, sex is important in a relationship. Intimacy, connection, communication. There's many things that are important in a relationship, but physical touch in a relationship, in a romantic relationship, is important. And so, in order to move through this duty sex, it is to, first of all, not point fingers and go, it's your fault. Or not even point fingers at yourself and go, it's my fault. Guess what? It is the couple's problem. And it is something that needs to be talked about as a couple. And if you're a man, you're like, my woman has never had duty sex. This is a beautiful conversation to have. And as a woman, if you find yourself consistently having duty sex, I want you to ask yourself, why? Why am I allowing it? Why am I leaning in? And then once you get that answer, if the answer is, well, I'm afraid that he's going to blah, 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 whatever your thought process is, in that moment, it's time for you to then confront him and have that conversation and discuss it. Because duty sex is happening and it is crumbling relationships all the time. When we're having sex, it should be for a purpose of connecting and having true intimacy with our partner. It's not about the orgasm. It's not about just having sex, but it is about opening up and really connecting at that deeper level. And yes, there are times, and I talked about this in my Fine Lines video a couple days ago, there are times that yes, we do lean in. We do lean in, we do things for our partners, but if we're a fuck no, if we're really not wanting to be there, we're really not doing anything for our partners, but stealing their presence, their connection, and in truth lying to them. So yeah, hopefully you guys got some stuff out of that. I'd love to hear your comments below, your experience. So I am My coffee day is here, so I'm going to go head off and have some yummy coffee. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you guys soon for another Addison Unleashed. Love y'all. Bye.